Welcome to Thoroughbred Times on the Scene. I'm Tom Law. I'm joined by Mark Taylor of TaylorMade Sales. TaylorMade, of course, the leading consignor out here at Keeneland for the last 7 years, including and 13 of the last 16 years. Mark, certainly a lofty statistic to hold up to, but I know that there's so much more important things than just maybe being the leading consignor. I know you guys put a lot of pride into everything that you do. What's your guys' outlook going into this year's September sale, and maybe holding up to those lofty standards?
Well, we had some meetings with our team, and one thing we say internally is selling's a team sport. You can't do it as an individual. You got to have a team working together. And what we're focusing on this year is the market is what it is. What we've got to do is maximize our customers' return on investment by presenting their horses better than we ever have, trying to present the potential buyers with all the information they need, and really just pull together, because the breeders have had some tough times, and it's kind of like you're going to war. You got to go in there, and for the next 2 weeks we got to execute and do the best we possibly can to get our customers to have a good sale.
Yeah, you mentioned going to war. Actually, was just pulled you out of an office meeting. It looked like you guys were almost in like a war room. It almost looked like a situation like the NFL draft. You had your team in there. Everybody was kind of formulating things. How much preparation goes into, obviously it's a whole year's worth of work to get to this point. How hard is it once you kind of get on the sales grounds and you're coordinating the barns? I know you guys got a full barn down the hill. We're actually up here. We're up part way up the hill right now. We're in the book 2 horses right here. How much work is it for your guys and your team to pull the whole thing off?
Well, my mom and dad actually started laying the human resources plan for TaylorMade about 60 years ago when they started reproducing, and they had enough kids that we could handle this many horses. So, by having 4 brothers and then our partner Pat Payne working together, people always say, how do you handle, selling that many horses? But once you divide it up, it's like, how does Todd Pletcher train that many horses? I mean, he's got very good people, he's got good organization, and the preparation is everything. I mean, you got to have your team where they're ready to function right off the bat, just logistically, with information, communication with one another. So it's a lot of preparation. But once we get on the sales grounds, you kind of take a deep breath, because most of the work is done. A lot of the heavy lifting and the monotonous type stuff is done. Now we get to do the fun part, which is show the horses.
Now, you mentioned Todd Pletcher. Obviously, activity picked up considerably out here today. I know you're up here getting set up for this other barn, but obviously a lot of activity on the sales grounds. What are you hearing from, all of the prospective buyers, the people that are looking at horses? What are you hearing about the horses in the catalog, both the TaylorMade horses and the rest of the horses, maybe in Book 1, about maybe what the outlook would be?
Well, I think the reformatting of Book 1, which happened last year, was a very good thing. Because in the environment we're in, there's only so many Book 1 type pedigrees, and then you got to have the physical to go with it. So by condensing Book 1 down to 200 horses, it enables the sale to get off with a nice start. Some really good physically conformed horses with good pedigrees in front of the buying public. So I feel good about that. I think that's the part of the market that is going to hold up. You saw what happened at Saratoga. Obviously, Sheikh Mohammed was very strong up there, which helped. But those were good-looking horses. They were hand-picked. They went up there. They're good individuals. I think those horses are going to hold up very good in the market. The top 20% of horses on any given day, I think, are going to sell probably a little better than people expect. When you get down to the next chunk, which is what I call, your average horses. They're not bad horses, but they're not perfect horses, which is maybe the next 50% of the market. I think that breeders are going to have to be very realistic with their reserves. And I don't think it's going to be easy. I think there's in the economy we're in, how can we expect things to go up dramatically? So we're going to have to set realistic reserves. We're going to have to go into it with that mindset. And I think the bottom 20% are going to be very tough to move, and we got to look at it as the breeder. Are we eliminating that expense, getting the horse moved on, and let's try to do better on the next one? If you try to push the envelope with your reserve on every horse, you're going to have a high buyback rate, which is something we're trying to avoid.